With us to record. Right, hello and welcome to week three. It's so exciting. Oh, I need to play my tune again, won't I? Let me know if you can hear it. We need to play it. We need to play it because the girls will get this first.
Nation hypocrisy code
Oh,
on me.
we've got the hip hop bit.
Open the streets and watch our beliefs.
Can you
And
hear
when they
that?
carve my name inside the concrete, I
Yeah.
pray it forever reads. Freedom, freedom, I can't move. Freedom, cut me loose.
Hey, hey!
Freedom, freedom, where are you? 'Cause I need freedom too. I break chains all by myself. Won't let my freedom rot in hell. Hey, I'ma keep on running 'cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
Boom! Fabulous, 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 fabulous. We need to play that every week because why not? Okay, so this week's all about limiting beliefs. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen when I get into the right screen. That'll be helpful. Limiting beliefs and kind of fueling your mind. And actually, funnily enough, I had a conversation with Nicola today, and me and Jasmine have just had a conversation about how our little minds play all sorts of stuff on us. So, let's go, let's go. Right, can you see that, Jasmine? Yeah, can you see it? Yeah, good, fabulous. Okay, so I've got quite a short amount of like slides today, but there's going to be a little visualization at the end. Um, Mindset's everything. Now, although I am keeping this slide in because I totally believe it's true, I've also, as most of you know, I've been doing a lot of work physically on like my internal nervous system and a lot of body, like embodiment and somatic stuff. So I totally believe it is all interconnected and that although the mind does feed all the shit that goes on in there, it's important to work on both. But again, that's a journey. Sometimes we need like I definitely started with all the mind stuff and now it's much more going into all the embodiment stuff. Um, we've seen this picture before, I think. Have we? No, we're not. Okay. So I see because I use this picture in quite a lot of my like talks and stuff like that. I'm like, I feel like everybody's seen it. So this is me years ago, and so some people who were watching this back will have seen this picture before. This is me right in the crux of like that time in my life where I was like very, very lost, very, very stuck. As you can see, there's probably a lot of pictures like this, but I am dead behind the eyes, like absolutely dead behind the eyes. And that is what kind of like got me the most when I was just clicking through, like trying to, this was ages ago, trying to find content, and I was like, boom, like it was like a to the gut because it was like a reminder of being in that position. Um, and my mindset, I didn't even really think about growth. I didn't really think about learning. I was stuck in this position where I was in those particular patterns and those particular environments that were not serving me, and I wasn't growing, I wasn't developing, and I kind of was like, I've made my bed, I need to lie in it, kind of a situation. So I suppose if this is in these slides just to as a reminder, like you can go from here and go to anywhere. It's probably a reminder that actually that actually I don't even think that looks like me anymore. Like I don't even think it looks like me, and even when I look at the picture, I'm like, that's not me. Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't even think I feel like I'm looking at myself. So, but don't get me wrong, it took a long time. Like that was probably maybe about 9 years ago, 8, 9 years ago, something like that. And then I still stayed in that situation for another 3 years, 3 or 4 years. Do you know what I mean? So it's took a long time to kind of, first of all, get out of that situation and then grow and develop as the years have went on. And it's kind of been really never ending, to be quite honest with you. Um, so go through your limiting beliefs and negative thoughts regularly and learn to replace them and stop telling yourself that you're not good enough. And this is something that keeps coming up. We're going to talk through this today and we're going to talk through how we can start to shift that little, we mean, Jasmine, we're talking about the little monkey brain, how we can start to shift the monkey brain. And there's loads of different layers to that. So I'm not going to overwhelm with too much today. And if you have done the masterclass from last week, it'll tie in really, really nicely with this. But you could do it like back to front or front to back if that makes sense. It doesn't really matter what we order you do it in. So to get something that we quote. This is like a wee presentation that's got hundreds of quotes because I love a frigging quote. Um, to get something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. So this is just like a few slides and of like different things that once upon a time I would have said these little things. So I'd have said it's too hard. That was a 10K in the top left hand corner. It's too hard. I can't do that. I carried on. In fact, I was like, see, when I signed up to my former coach, first thing I said to him was like, I'm not running. And he was like, right, okay, I'm not running. I don't want to run. He's like, right, okay, that's fine. And sure enough, he managed to manipulate me. No, I'm joking. And I didn't run straight away. It wasn't like, so it wasn't that, but it was like a built thing, but it was a built trust, and I built trust in myself. And then I've done a 10K. Do I love running? No, but I can run. Like it's not so I'm not a runner. Shite was just a wee story I was telling myself. It's a limiting belief. It's too hard. I can't do that. The one next to that, Mila will kill me for having that photo of her up here where we Harry Potter onesie on. But that was when I bought my house. Um I had been in a flat when I had Dylan, so Dylan's now 17. I was 23 when I had Dylan, and I got a flat. And at the time I got the flat, and I was like, I'm not going to be here. So we had like wooden floors, and I always wanted a carpet. And I was like, I'm not spending money to put a carpet down because I'm not going to be here for long. And 12 years, 13 years later, I'm still there. So but and my dad used to always say to me, "You need to get a mortgage. You need to get a mortgage. You need to get a mortgage. You need to get a house." Da, da, da. And I would be like, "No, no, no." I was self-employed, so it was like, "Oh, I'm self-employed. It's too hard to get a mortgage." Da, da, da. But the reality behind all that was, I didn't feel like I was good enough. I wasn't good enough to be able to have a house and have a mortgage, even though I had the evidence to say I was paying rent all these years for 13 odd years. I was paying this rent every month religiously, but I still had this fear in the back of my head that I couldn't like what would happen if I got a house and I would first of all I wouldn't even get a mortgage because I'm self-employed, and second of all I had all these kind of different thoughts going through my head like I wouldn't be able to sustain it even though it was cheaper than my rent. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so all these little thoughts that went through my head, but the core of that was I didn't feel like I was good enough. I wasn't good enough. I didn't deserve to have a house or a mortgage. Um, the picture next to that is I done like one of those cold water dips, but it was like as you can see, it's a wee skinny dip. So it was like a female empowerment thing where it was like let's love our bodies and all that sort of stuff. But again, a lot of people would be like, oh my God, no, like, and that's fine if people are like, I don't, that's no for me, that's no for you, that's absolutely fine. But a lot of it's like caring about so much about what would other people think of my body, what would people think of this bit and this bit and this bit and this bit and whatever. Um, the one next to that is a High Rocks was I'm not talented enough. I'm going to be against. See, when I went into that competition, I had never even looked at what it was until I walked into the room, and it was a big thing. I didn't even know. Had no fucking idea. Never even looked at it. So naive. It was like pure. What's the word for the that I said to my coach at the time? Absence. Absence is bliss. No, it's another saying. I can't remember what it was, but totally had no idea. No idea. Went to the wrong station because I was just following everybody else, and that was the people before me, but that's all right. So I went to the wrong station, get penalties and all that sort of stuff. But like before I had even signed up to that, there was a lack of self belief. It was a lack of being again coming back to that enoughness. Down in the kind of middle with my hands up like this. That was a arrow break. I've now done 3 arrow breaks. I have my wee arrow right next to me, a reminder that I can do hard shit. So I've now done 3 of these, and that again, it's a limiting belief thing. So that's like, normally what you do is you put like a bit of a post-it note or whatever on the other side that's on the board, and then it's like that might be who you're doing it for, or it might be like what are you walking into, what are you breaking through, sort of a thing, just to give you a bit of a focus. But when you're there and you've got that arrow in your throat, it's like, fuck, what if I can't do this? What if this arrow goes through my throat? What if I die in front of all these people, right? But the reality is, Brian, who's the guy who's doing it, he's done it hundreds of times. Nobody's died. Like, do you know what I mean? But even when you're in these scenarios, and that was the second time I've done it, maybe the second or third time, um, when I've done it the very, very first time, and even actually in all the times that I've done it, it's always been with Brian actually. Um, there has been people who have like had a full blown, they've got to that point where they're like, I can't do this. Like, and they've got really upset, and he's been really, really great at coaching them through it. But it's that whole what if, like we were talking about just before in the call, like what if it's that fear of the unknown, like what if I've never done this before? What if it all goes pear-shaped? Podcast, I've been speaking on, that was on my former coach's podcast, by getting asked to speak on these podcasts again, it's that you're exposing yourself. Like, what if you're rejected from these people? What if you get, I know a lot of people who put themselves in the out, like in the outside world, or like in um what's the word I'm looking for? Outside world, because that is, everyone's outside world. But like people who put themselves out there, they can quite often get trolled and get abusive messages and all that sort of stuff. So like there is always that thing, like what if, like before I done that podcast, like what if I thought I'm talking pure shite? What if people are like, you're like, what the hell you talk, like you don't know it, da, 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 da. But again, that would be a personal opinion. You're allowed to have different opinions from other people. The bottom right, bottom will be my left, your right, I think. I think. Sky. It was a skydive. Again, fucking. If you've ever thought about doing a skydive, best thing I ever did. It was fucking tremendous. Don't get me wrong, shat myself when the wee guy flew at the plane in front of me, but so there was that wee element. But again, that's that control thing, and I know I've spoke to a few of the girls about control, and that like there's no more out of control. Like you've no control there. You're fucking flying, and somebody else is on your back, being like in control of it. And it's the most freeing, exhilarating experience I've probably ever had in my whole life, because I had like a quite a big thing about being in control. I had most of you know I've got a dance school, and for a long I have had that for years. I set it up when I was pregnant with Dylan, and I suffocated it. I absolutely suffocated it, because it was like a lot of that was because of what I was going through personally, because I was so out of control in my personal life, that I was like, this is my baby, nobody's touching it, da, da, da. But in that whole respect, I totally suffocated it. So, but in doing so, and now understanding and realizing that actually having a team, having people who are actually better than me, is serving it more, because they're better at things, they're good at things. Like I'm shit with like fucking spreadsheets and all that. I hate all that. It's boring as fuck. But one of my coaches loves it. She thrives off a spreadsheet, and I'm like, you're not gonna sell it then. But that means it's organized. That means people know what's happening, and it's not, it's less chaos. I was fucking chaos on a plate. Absolutely, I was like, oh, what's this happening here? Whatever, total chaos on a plate. Didn't even know what was coming in, because at the time it was like people were giving you money in like envelopes and stuff like that. Somebody didn't have money. Oh, right, and you'd write it down to remember. They would, and then you'd forget about it. People owed you hundreds of pounds, and you just like but you had no, there was no paper trail, because I was just totally othership. So I've recognised that actually it really serves me having other people. The bottom one with the wee group of kids, that's some of my dancing kids and some of my coaches. That was a studio. So the same year I bought my house, at the beginning of the year I got the house, at the end of the year we got the studio. Again, I have had that dance school, as I said, for 17 years, more than 17 years now. For a good 15 of those years, we've spoke about having a dance studio, and I went to see different spaces now and again, and there was never a perfect space. There was never a perfect space, because it wasn't too high. It wasn't high enough, or it wasn't wide enough, or it didn't have this, or it didn't have this, whatever. And the reality is, there's no perfect space. Like you're not going to get a perfect space. And I was just creating these wee stories in my head that was like cementing what I was saying, that actually there's not a perfect space there, so we can't get that, whatever. The reality was, again, it was like I felt as if I didn't deserve that success. There was the fear as well, because it's a big commitment. There was that I'm not good enough, and all these things come back to stopping me from moving forward and stepping into that. And now we have a studio that we've now had for, excuse me, for 2 and a bit years, and like, and it's the kids zone, it's the kids' wee home. Do you know what I mean? And we've got all the equipment there, and I don't need to fucking traipse all the gear out and in the car and all the rest of it. And so like it's totally transformed that whole space, and that whole the way we run, because I have just stepped into feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Um, the next one was a photo shoot. That was only a couple of years ago. Um, but like that, I was like 30, maybe 37, 38, something like that. And like so the old first of all the only girl, and second of all the oldest by a mile doing this photo shoot. Not that I never think I'm old because I feel like I'm fucking 15 in my head sometimes, but um but there's that whole thing. A lot of people use that as I'm too old, I can't do that. I'm too old, I can't change. I'm too old, I can't, whatever it may be. And don't get me wrong, although sometimes with the age thing, there is certain things that, like, I mean, I wouldn't expect my mum to go do a cartwheel. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that, okay, maybe, like, let's be sensible here. But for the most part, it becomes a story that people tell themselves. Um, and the bottom one is a fire walk that I done for Chest and Heart Strokes, something, some charity. Um, and it needs to be perfect is another thing. That's probably should actually be in the studio photo, to be fair. That should be swatched right round. But it needs to be perfect is like understanding if you're sometimes people think that if you it needs to be perfect, it's similar to what I was talking about the studio, it needs to be perfect, it needs to be perfect. The reality is perfect doesn't exist. And I think sometimes we're a bit guilty of being like, everything must be this perfect way. And then that stops you from actually stepping forward because it's no perfect, you're not stepping into it. But again, it's sometimes a story we tell ourselves, but that's also the superficial story. There's then a deeper story, as we know, that comes in line with that. So, moving on. Oh, I've got wee. Did you see I've got wee dots? I didn't know I could do that. Oh well, it's exciting. So what you feed your mind will lead your life, and I am an absolute advocate for this. I know we spoke about this. I think we spoke about this before, but you can open your eyes in the morning and you can be like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, it's fucking raining outside. Oh, for fuck's sake, I've got this. Oh, for fuck's sake," and that is going to literally like program your mind for that day. What is the chances of you opening your eyes up and being fucking raging with life, and then everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows? It's pretty slim, right? But if you can flip the switch, and I'm not saying let's I'm a woo like because that's not like right. But if we can flip the switch and start on that positive note, which is why I always put those gratitude things in, because if you're starting with gratitude, I'm not saying your day's going to be wonderful, because it might not be. But if you're starting on that note, if you're starting on that something positive, something, then at least it's more likely to be a little bit more positive than starting being like, oh for fuck's sake, this is shite, that's shite, they've just done this and blah, 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 and all that sort of stuff. So when you what you feed your mind is how you're going to rule your life. But that's also I think we spoke about this before, but that's also social media, that's also friendships, that's also podcasts, that's also books, that's also probably music to a degree as well. So all these different things I've got if you're putting anything in your ears or anything is coming into your ears or your eyes or any sensory or you're feeling whatever, you're feeding your body, you're feeding your mind. Um I mean what if you did good shit? Now, I fucking love this video. I hope it's going to work. This is a video that I quite often play when I'm doing presentations because it's all about the lion's mentality and I'm not going to destroy the actual video because they do it better than me. It's all Americanized and so like, and it's brilliant. But and I love this shit. And see, when I first started on my kind of journey, I used to feed my brain with so much of that, and it's not for everybody. I totally get that because the American stuff is very over the top. But when I first started on the journey, when I was out walking, when I was out running, when I was whatever, I was always listening to some sort of like collaboration of these like really motivational speakers because it's feeding constantly feeding my brain. So this is about a lion's mentality, and this is all about like how the lion isn't as he's not the biggest, he's not the strongest, but he's the fucking king of the jungle because of how his brain works and how he I'm not gonna ruin it. I'm gonna let them speak. Right, like I hope this works. Let me know if it does. You hear that? Right, stop right now. Did you hear that? Yeah, no, when it started. Right, wait a minute. My sound right. I'm getting pure good at this, sharing sound shit and all that. I'm working it all out. Right, you ready? You get that?
If the lion is the king of the jungle, how can he be the king of the jungle? If he's not the biggest, the elephant is probably one of the biggest. He can't be the fastest because that's a cheetah. He can't be the smartest. So he's not the biggest, the fastest, or the smartest. So how does a lion become the king of the jungle? His mentality. That's the only difference of a lion and an elephant. When a lion walks up and sees an elephant, he thinks lunch. An elephant thinks run. And it's all mentality. Because when a male lion walks up, he may be outnumbered by a pack of hyenas, but I'm king of my jungle because of my mentality.
What happens when you're a gazelle and you're not being pushed? You're not being prodded. You're not given a reward. Nobody's encouraging you. What happens when you're a gazelle and the lion's not chasing you anymore? You stop running. What happens when you're a lion? When you're a lion, it does not make a difference. You realize that if your family is going to eat, that if that pack of lions is to survive, then you gotta go hunt. A part of being a beast just ain't eating a gazelle. A part of being a beast is the hunt. It's the hunt that they're excited about. They like to see the gazelles run. Then boom, they take off. Because real lions like to hunt. They love the process just as much as they love the prize. And some of y'all just want to score. You don't like the process. You're not in love with the process. A true hunter's goal is not the prize. A true hunter's goal is to hunt. That's what they live for. They live to hunt. They don't just live to catch it. It's the whole process. When you are a true hunter, you don't go by time, you go by the gazelle. When you are a true hunter, you hunt until you get a gazelle, and you don't stop until you get one. And then you get another, and then you get another, and you get another. If you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do, be what you say you're gonna be, you're gonna have to lion me out. You a gazelle, you're gonna come up short. You a gazelle, you're gonna have an average experience. You a student, I need you in lion mode. You an entrepreneur, I need you in lion mode. You trying to lose weight, lion mode. You can't do nothing significant in gazelle mode, nothing. Nothing impressive happens in gazelle mode. Nothing happens in run mode, give up mode, quit mode, scared mode, fearful mode, nothing happens. Everything happens in lion mode like I'm coming to get you.
And the crowd goes wild. So that's it. Like there's longer versions of that, but I fucking love that. And see, even with the music, it's just you just got those pure feels. So literally, I'm not even joking. Like obviously, you can see down there at the bottom because it's just in a YouTube link. Like there's so many of these kind of videos. Some of them are really long. Some of them are quite small. They're super Americanized. So it is all that pure Tony Robbins stuff, which I fucking love, to be fair. But it's so powerful. It is so powerful because then, see, when I used to listen to this, I'd be like, "I'm a fucking lion. Let's fucking go." And it just made you it just shifted the mindset. It just shifted the physiology because it gives you that like bite. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Also a pure believer, and we need to like rest and recover and do all that sort of stuff as well. Like it's very much a balance. But see, when it comes to that mindset of like, um, this is a goal, whatever it may be. This is what I'm doing. Like that whole I'm doing what I said I'm going to do. Like that, the lion mentality is so. And also, I fucking love animals. So, although I'm a veggie, so see when it starts talking about eating them and all that, I'm like, oh yeah, what the bus? Right, where are we at? Right. So, what are you currently feeding your mind with? So have a little think. Don't need to share. You can just pop it down a wee bit of paper if you've got paper there, or if you've got your phone, you're ready to take your notes. What limiting belief have you currently got? So again, you can either answer the second question or the first question, or amalgamate the two of them. What are you currently feeding your mind with? Is it more negativity? Is it more again, like I said before, the more specific you can be, the better. What limiting belief do you currently have that is limiting your potential to reach? It says your goal here, but like whatever that may be, your next level, your whatever your goal is, or whatever your whatever you're here for, or not even necessarily for, but just whatever you want out of life. So what are you currently feeding your mind? And you can use specific words. You can use the actual if you've got the name for the limiting belief, write it down. If you've not got the name, just write down all the different things that are coming up that you're noticing. Because as I put a post up about this a few days ago about awareness, like awareness, and we've spoken about this loads, Jasmine, but again, to the girls that are watching this back, awareness is absolutely crucial. Without awareness, you can't do it. And when you've got awareness to it, it's crucial. And there is a period of time where there's that frustration where you have the awareness, but you've not quite shifted over. Um, and that's almost like your I say former self and future self almost like at loggerheads a wee bit. Yeah. I know that you feel like you're right there right now, Jasmine, don't you? So I was going to do it actually before I came on this, I was like, I'm going to change how I'm doing this. Um, because I was going to do breakout rooms if the other girls were on. I know that a couple of girls can't ever make it on Monday, which is fine. But then when I thought I was going to do it differently anyway. So I want you to think about this first question, but in a different way. So on that limiting belief that you have just wrote down, or that whatever that scenario or whatever you wrote down, I want you to think about if your best friend or the person you care about most in the world was to come to you with that exact thing that you've just wrote, what would you say to them? So like put a different hat on. If you've got a best friend, or it doesn't need to be a best friend, sometimes that's not the way it works. So if you've got a best friend or the person that you care about most in the world, what advice would you give them based upon what you've just written? If that person's came to you with that exact thing. You wrote it down, Jazz? Amazing. So thinking about that, if you read that back like it's getting read to you, what you've just wrote, what you would tell your friend or your family member or your loved one, whoever, or those for the girls watching back, would it be your kid, like whatever. Um, you probably wouldn't tell your kids this sort of stuff, but you never know. You never know. Everybody has different relationships. And I want you to think about that advice that you gave that friend or that special person in your life. How does that feel reading it back? Just take a wee moment to let that sink in. Because it's normally when you give somebody, you're very, well, I know we're all good at this, giving somebody advice, but we can't take it. So think about that perspective shift when you're no longer the person in it, you're now the person on the outside of it, looking in. How does that feel being that other person? And again, you can either share or you can write down, Jazz, whatever works for you.
But honestly, we're own biggest bullies, aren't we?
Mm.
And it's so interesting as well because I like to say I don't have judgment, but I'm the judgiest person ever to myself. And how can you say you don't have judgment when you're so horrible to yourself?
Yeah,
And that's a
100%.
difficult thing for like the ego to take.
Yes. Yes, 100%. The ego doesn't like to be told that it's not right.
No.
Yeah. So are you happy to share what you wrote, or do you want to keep it private?
Yeah, like so I actually wrote when you're feeding your mind. So I've been doing a lot of things around nutrition, and the
Yeah.
first thing that came to my mind was just ultra processed shite. Like
Yeah.
it's just so much rubbish. But like I've put loads down, like I'll fail anyway. There's people out there that are better than me that can do it better. Um but see everything that you had, that is
Hmm.
like running in my brain. Every
Yeah.
single there wasn't one that you had up there that I don't have currently going through my brain. And if my friend or family member came up to me and said to me all of this that was going on, I'd be like, shut up. Are you,
Yeah.
are you having a laugh? Like, and you don't know until you try. And even if you do, it's something else that it. I like to say it's character building,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, 100%.
you'll be amazing. And
Hmm.
a lot of the things that we want to do are soul led anyway, and there's lessons in it to be learned. But
Yeah,
sometimes it's just a scary thing to take the leap, isn't it? To
100%. Yeah,
Because then when you do get that judgment, being it's having to stand so firm in your own 2 feet to know who you are and what you are, that
yeah,
what other people say doesn't affect you because you're not triggered by it.
yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that's something that I'm obviously working through just now when it comes to just the fear of being seen, because I'm like, I don't want to look stupid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But again, that is something that you do, like you say, you come through the other side of it, and then you really begin to care less about what people think. Because
Yeah.
see, when you become so like in tune with your own, so I know you really are in tune, but when you become so trusting and so, like of your decisions, of where you want to go, of all this stuff, it become no, everybody else's opinions become like you don't care about them. They become less important. Do you know what I mean? They're not a priority because you become the priority. Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. I think it's that way where when everyone says that we're living in our own, like this is our own world, and what
Hmm.
other people say doesn't matter. And I think that's like a sign of you like transcending, if you like, that whole belief of having to believe what other people think and what that's all we tests.
Yeah,
We no longer believe that and we just do our own thing. I think that's like a true, it's like proof that you've done the inner work and that you're just living your own life. Like you're
yeah,
living this life is what people would say. Do
a
you know what I
hundred
mean?
percent, 100%,
It's the
definitely.
layers of an onion into it. Like we think that
Oh
we're
my God.
and then we get booted back. I like you said there, um I've done this work and whatever, but I'm also like, I thought I'd done this work, but here we are here on that, but it's like a new level, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like it's getting
yeah.
harder and
And
you
that's it. And you there's constant new levels. Like I think we said that. I think me and you said this in that other the last call, but or the first call, but. I think when people think they cracked it, that's the beginning and the end. Do you know what I mean? Like there's not, it's just a constant evolution that you get to here and then you level up, and then you get to here and you level up, and it's just we spoke about this before I started screen sharing. I don't know if I've recorded this, so I might need to record this again. I can't remember.
know you
About that,
clicked
that's fine.
record
Okay,
and
I'm
then
like shit. I was like, I might need to record this again. But you get to it, and just before that level up is when the most it's the most hardest part, because I need to click that away now. Oops. It's the most hardest part is when you're just on the crux of that breakthrough, on the crux of that change, because that is where the most uncomfortableness is, but it's also where you're almost like your two selves, not that there is two selves, but you know what I mean, like your future self and your former self are like at that loggerheads where like there's this crossroads happening, and that's where loads of people, so even if you think, and I know I always go back to like physical journeys, and that's not what this is at all, but it's the easiest way to like actually like be able to look at it, or not the easiest, but it's one of the easier ways. But when people are in a physical transformation, it's normal, and it takes weeks before they see it when it's done properly, obviously. When it takes weeks and weeks and weeks before, there's like a saying that so many weeks before you see it, so many weeks before somebody else sees it, and whatever. And it takes a long time. But see, if you're able to start day one and day, I don't know, let's say 100, there'll be a massive difference, but it's tiny, 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 tiny things to get there. And quite often people can't see it because it's so incremental that they can't see the shifts like right there in front of them. And then it's normally when they feel like they're not getting anywhere, they're like, well, fuck this, what's the point? Why am I tracking my food? Why am I going to the gym? Why am I blah 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 blah? And they get into that frustration mode where they're fed up of all this stuff that they're putting in and all this stuff they're doing for themselves, that they throw the towel in. And that's normally right at the crux of where that real you can really see the physical transformation, but it goes hand in hand with all the different transformations on in any capacity, whether that's physical, mental, spiritual, whatever. There's always that little period of time where you're just shifting, and it's the most difficult time. And I know I've spoke to you about this already, Jasmine, but it is the most difficult time because you're just in that moment of where like the world's just turning a wee bit. Does that make sense?
100%.
How
It's
did you?
the moment where you're waiting in the queue for the roller coaster and you're like, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be great. And then you get to the front of the queue and it's like your turn and you're like, oh, fuck, do I want to go on that? Like, that looks
Yes. I fucking
terrifying.
love that. I'm totally stealing that roller coaster analogy.
It just popped into my head there and I'm like, wow, that's exactly what it's like. And then you go on the
Uh-huh.
roller coaster, you have the
And it's
time of
all at the shop.
and you're like, wow, I want to go and do that again.
Aye, exactly that. And do you know what? Like I even like I had a dance competition yesterday with my kids. It was their first competition out in the floor, and they're like that. They are fearful. A lot of them it was their first time going on the floor, so it's terrifying. Like it's a big, massive stage and whatever. And I said to one of the kids when they came off, I was like, "Did you enjoy that?" And they were like, "But before that, they were like, do you know what I mean?" But like that, they came off the stage, and it's like that those 2 minutes I went like that and they're fucking buzzing on life and they're like, I want to go do it again, I want to go like, do you know what I mean? It's the same thing, even though it's like 2 minutes compared to like obviously these sort of transformations take much longer than that, but it's the same thing. It's like that, like exactly like you said, that whole roller coaster and the whole journey is a roller coaster. We're not like, and that's why I thought it was dead important to put that in the chat today because it's no linear. Nobody's life's linear. Like I'm not like everything's no fucking all sunshine and rainbows in my life either. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's the truth.
I think that's the biggest thing from a healer perspective. Can't speak. I say healer with quotation marks because we never actually heal anyone. We heal ourselves, but we get the
Yeah,
guidance from whoever's facilitating.
yeah.
But it's that way where people have this perspective that we've got it all together. My life's
Hmm.
an absolute shambles right now, but I believe that you go through it because then we then can unlock the
Teach.
codes that
Hmm.
they allow. Because I couldn't stop yawning earlier on, and I'm like, why can't I stop yawning? And it's because you have unlocked levels that I haven't unlocked, so you're sharing the code and the frequency with me to then
Yeah.
be like, oh, that's how it works. So there's like an energetic, huge energetic undertone going on to unlock it all, and that's the whole point. And I think when you pedestal anyone, you say they're the guru, like that's the biggest red flag for anyone that does the work.
Yes, for sure,
There's
for
quote
sure.
there.
And the yawning also can be connected to the nervous system as well, where like it's calming. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Anytime I do any sort of nervous system stuff, yawns, sighs, stuff like that are always really good signs of like things. And I went and got I was telling Nicola this earlier on today, I went and got a myofascia massage, uh, or not therapy, I think it's called. I don't know what it's called. But basically, this girl was looking for like guinea pigs. I'm like, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'm not, I'm here. So it was like the wellness method or something like that. Anyway, so we were talking back and forth in voice notes, and like we were it's bananas how connected we were, like from just a couple of voice notes. Like, what? No, that yeah, it sounds like my life. What? Do you know what I mean? It's one of those ones. Anyway, so I went and met her, and we talked for ages, and then whatever this method was, and it was on Saturday, and I was going to this competition on Sunday, and I was like, I don't want to open shit up and then either want to punch them all or like greeting at a hip hop dance. Do you know what I mean? I don't like. We need to be careful here, and so she's like, right, I'll just do whatever feels like intuitive in that moment, sort of a thing. And I really wanted her to do. She does that now, the jaw thing.
Yeah,
Well, I've
yeah.
never had the buckle or something like that. I've never had that done, so I was kind of like, "Can you do that?" And she couldn't find the gloves, and I was like, "Okay, it's fine. Obviously, it's not meant to be." But it was one thing I was like, "I've never had that done. I want to get that done." And but she couldn't find the gloves. But again, all goes hand in hand. She couldn't find the gloves, and then we went and done the myofascia stuff. And at first, she was like, "Oh, do a wee bit of the lymph thing to open up the lymph, and then we'll do a wee bit of myofascia. We'll work on." I've got a section scar that's I've had two sections in a hernia operation, so there's a lot of scar tissue there. And she's like, we'll do a bit of scar therapy and whatever. And I was like, right, okay, like just do you, whatever. And she started on the myofascia stuff, and my body started doing this stuff, right? I was pure, like, I mean, convulsing, like, I was like the exorcist, right? It's a fucking fascinating. And my body's giving it all fucking welly. And she never even got onto the scar stuff because she just done the myofascia stuff. And then my body just started going bananas. Like, I mean, absolutely bananas. And I had no control over it whatsoever. And it's happened before. So, like, I did say to her, like, my body sometimes is a wee bit of a mind that's going. She's like, no, that's fine. Like, she's like, I'm very much like that. And I fucking find it amazing how your body does all this sort of stuff. Because when I do breath work, my body does that stuff. But this was like normally in breath work or whatever, I've got my eyes shut and you're in the house thinking, and when I done that SFT, my body was doing all that. But this opened my eyes at one point and I was having a full blown conversation with her where we're laughing and my body was still like going bananas. It was absolutely crazy, but amazing, like amazing. Like she was just like, this is fucking amazing. Watching it was so cool. Don't know why I went over onto that tangent, but it was bloody tremendous.
No, it's crazy what the body holds on to. That's what you were going with, because the body just holds on to so much, and when you're in that
Mhm.
space, you can let it go. It's wild to see what comes about it.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Um, and actually, that's what I remember now. I done this with Nicola earlier on. I went off on this tangent. I was like, why was I telling you this? So then there was like a rumble. My tummy rumbled, and she's like, "That's a really good sign that your tummy rumbles." She's like, It's not hunger. It's like it's your body going into rest and digest." So there's all these different little signs that your body gives you to be like, "Right, chill,
Oh,
listen,
makes
whatever."
so much sense, Donna, because recently I've been thinking, so I've been doing fasting 18/6,
Hmm.
and I've been making peace with being hungry. I'm like, it's okay to be hungry. And
Yeah.
you've just answered the fact of why I've had this reassuring thing of it's okay to be hungry, because it's the whole point of your body resting and repairing
Just
and
that
digesting.
rest and digest. That's just like, right, we've got this. Do you know what I mean? It's just that, and when it makes those weird, because I was like, I'm hungry, hen. I'm going home for some food. She was like, no, it's definitely that. I was like, all right, okay. So when you read your advice to your friend or whomever that person was that you were giving that advice to, how did it feel getting that perspective, and how did it feel giving it, even though you know it was you? Does that make sense?
Lots of compassion. I don't really have compassion for myself.
Yeah, love that. Beautiful. It's good though, getting these wee realizations.
Mm.
Um, And obviously, if you were in the wee like breakout room, did it make you reflect on your own? Did you it make you reflect basically on that?
100%.
Amazing, I love it. So self-worth comes from thinking that you are worthy. Yeah, and your thoughts create your actions create your life. Yeah, and this is where I'm not going to get the pure science because I'll fucking crucify it. And if there was a scientist watching my stuff, they'd be like, this is a real thing. This plasticity, it is a real thing. And again, I'm going to say that to the girls who listen back. You might hear there's a lot of buzzwords going around in the space, like with different things, but this really is a thing, and you can rewire your brain like that. Like you really can. I am like not even just saying that because I know it. I'm saying it because I've lived it. Like I've actually lived it. How we do that is in loads of different ways. So that's why I do a lot of visualization stuff and a lot of closed eyes subconscious mind work, which I would say is probably the biggest thing, like certainly in my experience. But also there's a lot of like having to bring things to your conscious awareness in order to then know that it's there to then change it and challenge it. So first of all, we want to recognise it, which we've just done when we were just talking about like what is your limiting beliefs. We want to challenge it, which we have done in a way because we've done the, oh, what would you say if it was if it was somebody else? So you've challenged it, but we're going to challenge it a little bit more. And then we reframe it, and then we put our reframe into action. And your action steps don't always sometimes feel as though they make sense because they don't necessarily, it's not often a big, massive action step. Sometimes it is a big, massive action step, but a lot of the times it's like baby steps in order to like, build the trust and switch the perspective and switch how you're seeing things. So when we're talking about recognizing we want to be, we've done that already, we've already recognized it. We've challenged it already by being like, who, if you were to be in a third person and you weren't looking at it from an outsider, that how would you respond to that? How would you make those people feel? What would you say? So we're also going to challenge it in a way that we're thinking, what evidence? do you guys have on the contrary, can't even say that word properly, to your limiting belief? Did you catch that, Jazz? Aye,
It was just the last wee sentence there that I
last
missed.
wee bit. So obviously we've done the recognising stuff and we've semi-challenged it by being a third person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're going to look at, right, what evidence do you have already that is going to crush that limiting belief? Maybe not crush it entirely, but like what evidence do we start? And we just build on that evidence. Do you know what I mean? Like, what evidence do we actually have? So I'm trying to think, for instance, like, so let's talk about my house, right? For instance, I was like, I can't get a mortgage, like, da 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 da. I was already paying fucking rent.
Mhm.
Like, it's not the exact same. Actually, my rent was nearer the mortgage is. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like, I already had evidence to say that I can afford to have a house because I'm already paying rent. I was paying rent, and see when you think you're like, oh my goodness, all that money that you spent it could have been in my bloody mortgage. Do you know what I mean? But like, so I already had evidence. I already had my house. I had ran my house my flat at the time for 13 years. I had paid rent every month for 13 years. Do you know what I mean? There was all these like little bits of evidence that I had that actually I can have a house, but that limiting belief is like, no, you're not good enough. You can't do that. Da, 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 da. Do you know what I mean? So we want to start building a stack of evidence that's actually like, no, I can do that shit. I can do whatever it is. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yep.
So start writing down little things. And again, it's really, I'll say this to the girls that are watching back, like it's really, I know I was speaking to Nicola today about like journaling and stuff like that, and I know journaling's not for everybody 100%, but see when you write things down, doesn't make it make sense to fucking anybody, but it's really good to get clarity. It's really good to just get it out your head. And also sometimes when you're something's in black and white, it makes it more real. I know certainly when I done the Tony Robbins course, they give you like the UPW, they give you like a booklet, and there's a lot of science to say that you'll take much more in when you're listening and writing because it's like you're using two of your skills basically, and it retains it much more. And then obviously you can go back and read it and whatever and stuff like that, and then it retains it even more. So I want you to write as much evidence as you possibly can. And if you want to take this into like later on or whatever, that's totally fine, or another day. But I want you to think about that. And I wouldn't overwhelm yourself with all this stuff. I wouldn't be like, I've got this limit belief and this limit belief and this limit belief, because then you're going to overwhelm yourself and you're probably going to end up being like, fuck this, this is too much, it's too overwhelming. So think about one thing, and then I want you to write all the evidence that you already have that you can do as opposing to that. Does that make sense? So again, there might be other wee things that will crop up. Then we'll want to be looking at reframing it. So whatever that limiting belief is, you've gained all this evidence that's telling you actually you can fucking do this, you can do hard things, you can do whatever. And then we want to reframe it. How do we reframe it? It's by shifting the way in which we word it, the way in which we speak to ourselves, the way in which we speak it out with ourselves. Reframe that limiting belief to be something that actually, so for instance, I'm trying to think of something let's a bit smaller in the house. So see, like for instance, the studio. So the studio, like I said, again, I was paying rent, similar to the house. To be fair, I was paying rent to. I was like by the hour paying these different things, and my reframe was probably. Don't get me wrong, a lot of the things that I'd done were a bit sporadic and chaotic in the sense that I was like, fuck it, because I was in this different headspace, and I was just like, do you know what? But for a long time, even when I was looking at this studio, I was actually looking at two different studios, and for a long time I was like pussyfooting, I was like dipping my toe, and I was like, oh, I don't know, because it's a big thing, and also even though I have a business, the person who I got the studio from wouldn't accept that it be a limited company, so it was literally my name that was on this lease. So like effectively, that's my house. It's then what's the word?
Lateral.
Aye. So like if I was to fuck up that, it affects my own house. It's my own person. It's not the business. I can't just close down the business.
Also, you
And
had
obviously she
the self, it was through like sole trader rather than a limited company.
aye. So which obviously it's from her perspective to protect her. Do you know what I mean? But it means that therefore I'm not personally protected. And so there was loads of different things that were like, what? But then I then started to put myself into places where other people were doing that shit. Other people were getting studios. You were seeing the evidence from their own experience. Where actually, I don't think I've met anybody who went, no, I done that and it was a pure shit show and I didn't and I wish I'd never done it. Do you know what I mean? Like so there was that I then started to gain like understanding that actually, right, I've got all this evidence, I've been paying all this rent, da 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 da. I've then also I'm watching other people and I'm being surrounded by all these other people who are then also doing this stuff. Right, okay, so that it can work. And then I started to reframe it in the sense that, right, okay, actually if I've got a studio right now, I can't remember how many hours I was doing at the time. At the time I was like, well, let's say 20 hours. I don't think it's as much as that. But I'm paying 20 hours for an hour a week to have a space that I kind of leave my stuff in, that I'm only, do you know what I mean? That I'm only using for that amount of time. Right, well, actually, if I have a studio that I've got 24/7 space, I can leave all my stuff there. I can then rent out my studio. So now we've got a lot of hires that hire our studio. Like, and so it's became another branch almost of the business. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like it's not just the dance school, it's also a space where people can hire it out. It's also other things that we can use for events and stuff like that. So I started to reframe it and actually, what are all the benefits of it? How can I actually, this can actually be a really massive, amazing benefit. It can actually change. I can actually shift this into being something pure amazing. So we want to reframe how we're thinking, even when it came to when I was even like the running and stuff like that. I'm not a runner and all that sort of stuff. I had to start building on like. So what did I do when I started running? I put those fucking Americanized shit in. You can do that. And I was like, I fucking can do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, and like that, I started like that was a wee talk, like I'm doing it. So what did I do? I put my shoes in, I put my shoes out, I put my stuff out. I got the wee thing with the fucking, to put your wee phone in and all that. Do you know what I mean? I started to build on getting the things that are going to force that evolution, that are going to actually make me, and then while I'm putting my shoes out, my shoes and my outfit is out, it's fucking happening. Do you know what I mean? Instead of having that resistance, it's not allowing it to happen. So we want to reframe it in our mind and then start to take little actions that it's like it is happening. Now for each individual, it'll be different depending on what it is for you guys all individually. But we want to start reframing our head like from I can't do this because of whatever to actually I can do that though. And then that can then go to that, and then that can then go to that, and build it up like that. Do you know what I mean? And it doesn't need to be the big thing, but just little things that will then like transpire into the big thing eventually. And that is the beauty of doing any form of like growth or transformation. It's not the big thing that's the big thing. It's all those little things. Like even when I've done the 10K, and don't get me wrong, I'm fucking buzzing. You're buzzing. It's over. I'm not gonna lie, but it's the person you become in that process rather than the actual end goal. And I think that's where a lot of people kind of think, especially with things like weight loss and stuff like that, or even weight gain, whatever it may be, I think people have in their head, oh, I'm doing this for a period of time. This is happening for a period of time, and but then what? Then what? Because if you don't keep up whatever you're doing, you're then back to the beginning. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's the same way any healing or any growth or anything like that is like people think it's just a little period of time. I'll just do this for a little bit and then it'll be all great. Like it doesn't work like that. And as we've already said, like it's a continuous evolution. And when you get to there, there's then actually there's more. What? And actually, when you realise it's more, and it's like, there's fucking more, instead of it being like, oh fuck, there's more. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's actually a beautiful thing that we can grow. Where like if you think about us as humans, like we have such a amazing opportunity that nobody else has and nothing on else has in this planet. Do you know what I mean? Like we have an amazing opportunity with the amount our body can do, the amount our minds can do, and we tap into such a small amount of it. So once you've got that reframe in your head, we want it, and you've thought about, right, well, how can I get to here? And what must I do to get to here? And what must I do to get to here? And build up the trust, build up the self-belief, and the actions are really, really important. So if you start to write, when you're thinking about that reframe, you start to write, "Oh, what can I do?" So instead of being like, I can't do, like for instance, I couldn't run. I can't run. I'm not a runner. Well, what can I do? Right, okay, well I can go outside and I can walk. Right, okay. Oh well, what I could do is I could I could maybe I could maybe just try like a pole to a pole. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, all right, okay, I managed to do that. Oh, that was all right, well, what about if I do a walk, a run a pole and then a walk a pole and then a run a pole and then a walk a pole? All right, okay, I managed to do it, and it's like gradually build up, and then like that, I end up doing the 10K. I didn't just go for shove my shoes on and just go do the 10K tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Like I gradually built up and started creating actions and action steps towards whatever that may be. And that can be, like I said, it'll be very different for everybody. And if anybody, even anybody listening back to it, I feel like, right, okay, I get it, but I need a wee bit of guidance. Please, please, please just reach out to me. Does that make sense, Jasmine?
Yeah, it's like learning a foreign language. You wouldn't just go, I can speak fluent French, and then be like, oh, you need to learn each individual word before you can start stringing sentences together. So it's kind of
100%.
in my brain now that I'm like, if you just do the thing, do the baby steps, it'll
Uh-huh.
all just flow together. But it is like
Yeah,
learning a foreign language. You can't just be like, oh, I
100%.
can't speak French, that's it. Like,
Yeah,
well, A, you have no practice, and B, like you're not going to learn it overnight.
100%. And there's also like, I remember you've sparked a wee memory. Like, I love Tony Robbins, as you know, right? And he was talking about like immersion, like, because that's really where that, again, that's probably another level to this, right enough. But so, like, for instance, learning a new language, how are you going to learn a new language the best? Fucking full immersion. Go and stay in, obviously, not everybody can do this, but go stay in the country, soak in the culture, soak in the people, like the people and the places and whatever, and then you'll be fucking fluent like that. Do you know what I mean? Like I done French in school and I know like bonjour. That's about it. Do you know what I mean? Literally, I'm not even joking. And we went to China in April to meet my wee nephew. My brother stays out there, and we got ni hao. Obviously, Chinese is a bit different because it's fucking ridiculous. Like, but ni hao was the hello, and that was me. I was ni hao. Everyone was ni hao because that was all I could do. But you're totally right. You're totally, totally right. Like anything, it just you need to. It's like a muscle. You just need to build it. It just takes time. And like that, the beauty of this is like the loop is always the same. Like
Yeah.
the recognition, the challenge, the reframe, the act, it's always the same. So once you've nailed it for, and I say nailed loosely, right? Because there's always going to be that wee voice that comes in and goes like, but once you've nailed it for one thing, like, right, okay, I understand that now. Right, what's the next thing? Do you know what I mean? And it just takes time over time. That's why I'm saying like don't overwhelm yourself and be like, I've got this one on leaf and this and this and this and this. But that because that's crazy. They're just going to be like getting I just
It's
love
just
this
like
photo because
into it.
eh,
Expectations on things, and that's why it ends up
100%,
failing. Because we need
100%.
that expectation to get to a state of mind that we want to be in, which then causes you to fail because you're never going to achieve that state of mind because you need to do the baby steps.
100%.
Yeah.
And but it's society we live in. Everybody wants things yesterday, and
Instant
everybody
gratification.
and they don't want the graft either.
Mhm.
And the reality is the graft is the thing
It's
that
that.
is where that's where it's at 100%. It's similar to my dancers. I'll say like sometimes you're like, fuck, I'm like hitting my head off a wall. And I'm not even like I don't coach them as much my coaches do it now. But like sometimes they're like, oh my God. Like, do you know what I mean? And they done amazing yesterday. But it's a society thing, and I do think it's getting more of a thing, certainly with younger generation. Like they expect the glory with much less graft. And you're trying to say to them it doesn't work because life doesn't work like that. Do you know what I mean? Life doesn't work like that. So this is just I just love this photo because I just think like I wish it was me, but it's not me. But it's just like so beautiful and it's also probably like a bit of a marry of like what I was talking about earlier on about like the fucking here we go, we're going for it. But also that peace, that like surrender, that like is a bit of a marry of the kind of both worlds and the two sides of the coin, if you like. Um, there's a lot to do with physiology as well. So and I'll tap a bit more into physiology another week, but when you're in a state, if you were to think about like if you were to look at a depressed person, right? And I say depressed person, I hate even like using that word, that phrasing, but you know what I mean. Traditionally, or what's the word I'm not looking for? Like, if you were to think about someone who was depressed, how would they be sitting? They'd probably be sitting hunched back. They'd probably have their head down. They'd be breathing quite shallow, probably. They would be quite quietly spoken often. So like that then contributes to their overall energy and also how they show up. Whereas if you were to think about somebody who like somebody like who's a leader, so somebody who's a leader, they stand with with a stance, they have a presence about them, they have like the way they speak is like clear, it's normally quite loud. Do you know what I mean? They have like a bit of a essence about them that makes them be that person. And when we think about shifting into these different actions, sometimes you need to be like, you have to get yourself into the state to be able to be like, I'm fucking doing this. Do you know what I mean? Which was partly, now quite often I'll do like in like presentations and talks and stuff, I'll actually put the music on and we'll be like, here we fucking go, and all this sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it really does shift. I like that's incredible how much it shifts. And we spoke maybe, I think it was Nicola speaking to about music. Like music can massively shift your state. Like, I don't know about you, but I could put a pure cheesy tune. I could be fucking raging about something, put a wee cheesy tune on, start doing my housework, and before you know it, I'm fucking swinging things about, singing and dancing. Do you know what I mean? Because it can shift your state. So, like, if like in these moments where you need that wee shift, like, think about the things that will help you get there. Is it music? Is it being like fucking here? Is it for me? Back in the day, not so much now, but back in the day, it was those. It was those you got this, you're amazing, no that shit, do you know what I mean? But also I love the meditation stuff, so that really, I meditate every morning, it really sets me up for the day. So like, whatever these little things, these little intricacies that can help you shift into that state of being like, I'm doing this. This is happening right now. It's happening today. Whatever it may be. Like I said, music, whatever, it's hitting your body. So like Tony Robbins, not why I'm talking about him so much today. It's clearly in my head somewhere. But like he does like a boom, and that's his thing. And when we done his stuff, it was all about like putting yourself into a state so as that you can walk on the fire, so as that you can do this stuff because you're like in your brain, I'm fucking doing this. Do you know what I mean? And it overrides that little monkey that's coming in being like, no, you fucking can't, no, you fucking can't, because you're like, I'm fucking doing it. I'm doing it. Um, so yeah, I love that wee picture. Now this is a little thing we're going to explore, and I'll just explore it for a few minutes. I'll not do too long on this because I know I've kept just a wee bit longer. But this is all to do with this neuroplasticity, and I bet you already know this, Jasmine. I hope you don't, right? But we're going to close our eyes if you feel comfortable to do so. And this is all about like how you can shift and you can I'm not going to tell you too much about what it's about, but because then I'll ruin it. So I want you to think about a lemon, and I want you to imagine you've got a lemon in front of you. Think about the colour of it, think about the shape of it, like think about the texture of it, how does it feel? Think really, really visualize this lemon and really like, turn up the colour, turn up the texture of it, turn up the size of it. Is it big? Is it small? Depends on your own decisions there. And I really, really want you to think about like the colour, that beautiful, beautiful yellow colour. Can you smell it already? Maybe give it a wee sniff, and just think about how it smells. Think about the actual texture of it. Give it a wee feel, and think about how it looks. And really amplify that. Really, really amplify that colour, that bright, bright, bright yellow, and that really, really kind of rumbly texture of the skin of the lemon. And we're going to cut right down the middle of that lemon. And we're going to open it up, and you might notice me some bursts of little bits of juice or whatever. And then we're going to take the lemon with its, and you can see the inside of it, and you really, really look into it. It's got really, really bright yellow. You can see all the little textures of the inside of the lemon. You can see the colour of it. And you're going to take a massive big bite into the lemon. And as you bite into the lemon, you can taste the bitterness of the lemon. You can taste all the juices going in, and right into the back of your throat and into your jaw. And really, really act, like really, really think about how this feels in your mouth and your jaw. And think about the taste, think about everything about this lemon, think about how it feels inside your mouth as it washes through your mouth. And then we're going to open our eyes. You taste the lemon?
Oh,
Did you go all like salivated?
yeah, it's wild.
That's a tiny, like I'd normally do that much longer than that, but I was just getting a wee tiny snippet. But it just goes to show, like, you can create, you didn't have a lemon. At no point were you sitting with a lemon in your hand. At no point did you bite into that lemon, but you got the feelings of doing so because you created it in your mind.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's like, that's, I mean, it's not entirely neuroplasticity, but it's like the proof that you can create in your mind and it can connect to your actual physiology, like in what you're doing, because your job is salivating. You tasted like all the bitterness of your lemon. I could have like really amplified that there, and you could have been like fucking drooling. But we'll not have that on a Monday night. But it just goes to show like you can create. See, when you can connect to the feeling of something, then that is where the shift is at. When you can connect to the feeling. But the fact that you didn't have a lemon in your hand, you didn't bite into a lemon, but you tasted a fucking lemon. Do you know what I mean? Like the power of your mind is fucking fascinating. But equally, if you think about that, and we've just done that with the lemon, the power of your mind is also so powerful that it can really do the opposite as well. So when we talk about these negative things, that is what you're doing to your brain. Do you know what I mean? You're creating that world of that negativity, whatever it may be, that I can't do that, I can't do that with these limiting beliefs. So we want to be really, and that's why I do this little bit, because it's so important to think about like actually I can create my inside world and it can actually have an effect on my body. Do you know what I mean? And that's where you even think about, I was talking to Nicola about disease today and how we've spoken about this before, Jasmine, but how disease, like disease is disease in the body and it can be created with your mind. Disease can be 100% created with your mind. Not to say that anything anybody's got isn't whatever it is, but you can create things in your mind and you can also uncreate things in your mind 100%. So that's like a little bit about your physiology where you can actually connect it. But there's also I heard this thing and I've kind of tried this before, and if you make a fist with your right hand, so go for it and make a wee fist with your right hand. And if you really, really squeeze that fist as hard as you can and really, really connect to how that feels. So if you squeeze your fist, your right hand as hard as you can, connect to like, how does that feel? What comes up? Is there any sort of emotions that come up when you're squeezing that right hand? Really, really squeeze like as tight as you can, like you're like whatever it is that you want to think about in this moment, you think about it. But squeeze that fist as hard as you can, keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing. And again, I'll do this much shorter than what I normally do, so it might not have quite as strong an effect. But squeeze, 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 squeeze as hard as you can, squeeze as hard as you can, squeeze as hard, keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing, and then let it go. And just think about what emotion, if there was emotion come up, was there anything specifically came up? And then you're going to do the same with your left hand. And you're going to squeeze your left hand as tight as you can. Keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing. And just like notice if it's different. Is there a different type of emotion? Does it feel a bit different? Like think about, just connect to that hand and think about like how does that feel? How does that feel? What emotions coming up? What's coming up? What anything is coming doesn't necessarily be emotion, but think about just squeeze it as hard as you can, as hard as you can, as hard as you can, as hard as you can. Keep squeezing, keep squeezing, keep squeezing, let it go. Where they're different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I actually heard that on something that I was listening to, and it was about how one normally brings up rage or like that kind of a side, and then the other one can bring up like the more kind of peace and calm and stuff like that. And I was like, that's fucking sexy.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. I felt sick at first with the right, and then it felt empowerment, and then the left, I felt really sad, and then there was weakness. So it was actually
Wow.
really, really
hmm
different. Yeah.
And there's obviously the two sides of the energetic field, so the masculine side and the feminine side.
Yeah.
hmm Amazing. Write that down so you've got that noted. And then the other one would be, I mean, I'll not make you do it just now, Jasmine, because it's like 8:30, right? But the other one is, see if you're ready to run, and again, you can just try this out whenever you guys are free, but or if you are watching it and catch up. See if you pause it and you just run as fast as you can for 30 seconds, fast as you can, fast as you can, fast as you can for 30 seconds, just on the spot. Again, your physiology, you'll feel like your body will be a wee bit buzzy. You'll feel the difference in your body, and it's just all these little things are just little proofs of how it's all connected, how your physiology is connected to your mind, and how if you change and shift your body, you can change and shift your state. So the running one, because you're moving, it'll release dopamine. There'll be an element of like you'll have that wee element of like a wee bit of a buzz. And I know you don't want to be buzzing at 8:30 at night, so we'll not do it. But give it a wee try. It's always good to do. I love a wee experiment, so it's always good to be wee experiments. So I want you to think of something that you need to drive forward with your goals to help you crush these limiting beliefs, and we've touched on that already. Think about a word. Think about like a singular word. So there's some examples here like courage, empowerment, strength, power, peace, love, self-belief, joy. And think about a singular word that it doesn't need to be one that's on the screen. Just if you've got a word that, see if when I said think about a word and a word came to you, that's your word. Yeah, so don't think about it having to be something that's on the screen. Because with this word, we're just going to do a little quick visualization. Again, this will not be as long as what I would normally do because I know I've kept you late. But I think, have you got a word, Jazz?
Sorry, I just had visitors just come to the door there, so I'm like, oh my God, it's all going. I'll probably need to listen to this.
Yeah, that's fine, don't worry. Yeah, on you go. I'll do this and then I'll post the replay. But I'm really at the end anyway. All right?
Okay, thanks so much, Donna.
No worries. Listen. Okay, so I want you to think of a singular word, one singular word. It can be one of the ones on the screen, or it can be one that when I said that your word, think about the word that word is, and that is your word because that came to you for a reason. And I'm going to put on some music, and we're just going to do um, a little quick visualization. It'll be quite short. Normally I would do these much longer, but we'll do more of these as the weeks go on. So think of your word, whatever your word may be. Write it down to make sure that you've got it sitting there and that you know what it is when you can look back on it. And then I'm going to go into this little visualization. I'm going to stop the screen sharing because we don't need to see that anymore. But I do need just to hear. So let's see. Again, pure good for this, by the way. Pure audio. Right, that should be it. Okay, so amazing. Okay, so we are going to close our eyes and we're going to get into a nice comfortable position. And we're just going to take a big deep breath in through the nose. And as we exhale, just allow yourself to melt into the space that you're seated. Just closing your eyes and just allowing yourself to surrender into the space that you're in right now. Just knowing that you don't need to force anything. Just allowing yourself to be here in this moment. Just breathing in through the nose, and as you exhale, just allow yourself to melt and surrender that little bit more. Going deeper and deeper and deeper. Just have a quick body scan, allowing the forehead to relax, the face, the jaw. With every exhale, I just want you to melt a little bit more and a little bit more. Just allow yourself to surrender. You are safe, you are held. Just as you think about as you take your attention down your shoulders, your chest, allow everything to just the glutes, the legs, the feet, the ankles. Just with your next exhale, relax, release and let go. Fully surrender to the place in which you're seated or lying down. And then when you think about this word, whatever the word may be, it might be peace, it might be love, it might be joy, it might be power, it might be strength. Whatever your word is, whatever the word is special to you, I want you to visualize this word. And I want you to think of what colour this word might represent. Is it white? Is it pink? Is it purple? Is it blue? Is it yellow, green, orange? So whatever colour comes to mind, first and foremost, that is the colour that is connected to this word. And I want you to just take your attention to your heart space, so just the middle of the chest. And this colour that represents this word, it's going to be like a little circle that will appear just at your heart space. And as you breathe, allow the belly to expand, but also allow this light to strengthen. With every single breath in, the light expands and strengthens and gets brighter and stronger. This light that represents this incredible word that you're going to take through today and the rest of the day, the rest of the week, and forevermore. This is your word, this is your colour, nobody can take it away from you. Breathing into your heart space, and as you breathe, this light, this brightness gets stronger and stronger and stronger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it starts to fill your whole chest. So this light is spreading out across your chest, spreading down your torso, all the way down to the tips of your toes. With every breath, more light builds within your body, all the way down across your ankles, your legs, your thighs, your knees, your glutes, and all the way down the arms, at the fingertips, the fingers, the hands, the wrists, the arms. So every breath, feel this getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and this light getting brighter. Feel it in your chest and in your throat, your jaw, your cheeks, behind your eyes, right up to the crown of your head. So you're now fully encased in this colour, whatever this colour is, whatever this represents to you. Breathe it in. Marvel in this moment, in this present moment. How does it feel to be encased in this light, encased in this feeling, encased in this beautiful, beautiful word? Because this is yours. This is a light and a strength and a power that nobody can ever take away from you. Whether that word is peace, love, joy, strength, courage, self-belief, freedom, doesn't matter. This light and this word represents you and the strength that you have within you. In a minute we're going to come back to the room. I want you to know that this light, this word, this feeling never ever leaves you. It is always there to tap into whenever you need to. So take another big deep breath in. And as you exhale, just lock in and remember how this feels, who you are. And what this represents. This is you. This is your word, your colour, your moment. This is all you, within you, all the time. I'm going to bring a little bit of life back to the body just by wiggling your fingers and wiggling your toes, and just start to bring a little bit of movement back to the body. Just allow yourself to come around nice and easy, nice and gentle. Just take your time as you bring yourself back into the room. There's no rush. Just take a wee moment as you start to, maybe you might want to stretch, you might want to roll your shoulders, you might want to take just a moment of just presence. When you've wiggled your fingers and when you've wiggled your fingers and you've started to bring a bit of movement back to the body and a bit of awareness, and if you've not opened your eyes yet, you can open your eyes and then come back into the room. And I want you to just note down what the word was, what the colour was, and how that felt. And just remember that this is always with you. Nobody can ever take that away from you. You created it, nobody else. It is there within you, always has been, just needed to be activated. So, I hope this served you guys well today. Sorry it was a wee bit longer than it normally is. I go off on my wee tangents. Thank you so much for putting your trust in me, and I am very, very grateful for connecting with you all. You are all amazing, amazing women, and keep on shining. I hope this served you well. I'm not going to put our freedom back on, because we're in this beautiful space that we need to be in for this moment in time. So I'll leave it here. Any questions, please reach out. Have a wonderful day, evening, week, wherever we're at when you're re-watching this. And please let me know in the chat how you've got on and what came up for you. Have a great time.